Hey everyone, imagine you're walking alone in a dense tropical forest just as the sun begins to dip below the horizon. The air is thick, humid, and suddenly you realize the forest has gone completely silent. No birds, no insects, nothing. You hear a rustle in the bamboo behind you, but when you turn, there's only shadow. You're not alone. In Indonesia, they say this is the moment she finds you. We're starting right in the thick of it today because the legend of Wewe Gombel isn't just a story told to keep kids in bed. For many, it's a terrifying reality that lurks in the twilight. So grab a snack, get comfortable, and let's talk about why you should be very, very careful when the sky turns orange.
So, who exactly is Wewe Gombel? To understand the monster, we have to understand the woman she used to be. Long ago, she was a kind-hearted woman who desperately wanted a child of her own. She was devoted to her husband, but life was cruel to her. She was unable to conceive. In her culture at the time, this brought immense shame and social isolation. Her husband eventually turned away from her, seeking the company of another woman, leaving her heartbroken and abandoned. Driven to the edge of madness by grief and the coldness of her village, she ended her own life. But her soul didn't find peace. It twisted into something much darker, fueled by a maternal instinct that had gone horribly, horribly wrong.
Now, when you see her today, or rather if you're unlucky enough to see her, she doesn't look like that grieving woman anymore. She is described as a towering, grandmotherly figure with long, pendulous breasts that hang down to her waist. Her hair is a wild, matted mess of gray and black, and her skin is as pale as a corpse. It's a sight that would freeze anyone in their tracks. But here's the weird part. She isn't purely evil in the way a demon might be. She targets children who are neglected or mistreated by their parents. In her twisted mind, she isn't kidnapping them, she's saving them. She takes them to her realm to give them the love she thinks they are missing, even if that love is a nightmare for the child.
The timing of her arrival is very specific. It's during Sandekala, the transition between day and night. In Indonesian culture, this is a sacred and dangerous time, when the veil between our world and the spirit world is at its thinnest. Parents will often scream for their kids to come inside the moment the Maghrib prayer starts. Why? Because that's when Wewe Gombel roams. She hides in the tops of palm trees or deep within bamboo groves, blending into the shadows. If a child is still outside, wandering or crying because they're lonely, she swoops down. She doesn't hurt them immediately. Instead, she tucks them under her massive breasts, effectively making them invisible to the human eye. It's a suffocating, terrifying embrace. Imagine being that child. One moment you're playing, and the next, the world goes dark. You can hear your parents calling your name. You can see their flashlights passing just inches away from you, but you can't scream. Wewe Gombel has a way of silencing her victims, often by feeding them food that looks like delicious treats, but is actually just mud and worms. This food puts the child into a trance-like state, making them forget their home and their family. They become trapped in her nest, high up in the trees, or deep in a hidden cave, surrounded by the smell of decay and the sound of her rhythmic, unsettling humming. It's a psychological prison, just as much as a physical one. So, what do the villagers do when a child goes missing during Sandekala? They don't just call the police, they start a ritual called Kotekan Darurat. The entire community gathers with pots, pans, bamboo sticks, and drums. They march through the village and into the woods, making as much noise as humanly possible. They shout, "Wewe Gombel, give back the child!" The idea is that the cacophony of sound is so irritating and overwhelming to the spirit that she becomes annoyed and loses her concentration. The noise disrupts the blind spell she has cast over the child. It's a race against time, because the longer the child stays with her, the harder it is to bring them back to reality. The moment the spirit gets fed up with the noise, she drops the child. Usually, the child is found in a very strange place, on top of a roof, wedged in the branches of a tall tree, or hidden under a bridge. But the ordeal isn't over just because they're found. The children are often in a state of shock, unable to speak for days. Some say they return with a blank look in their eyes, as if a piece of their soul stayed behind in that bamboo grove. It takes traditional cleansings and prayers by local elders to fully wake the child up from the trance. It's a traumatic experience that serves as a permanent reminder for the entire village to respect the boundaries of the spirit world.
You might be wondering, is this just a story to scare kids? Well, if you talk to people in rural Java, many will swear they know someone who was taken. There are countless accounts of children vanishing for hours, only to reappear in impossible locations with no memory of how they got there. Skeptics might say it's just a way for parents to explain away their own neglect or a child's tendency to wander off. But the consistency of the descriptions, the long breasts, the bamboo hiding spots, the mud food, is genuinely chilling. It's a legend that has survived for generations because it taps into a very real, very primal fear, the fear of losing a child to the unknown.
But wait, there's an even creepier layer to this. Some versions of the myth suggest that Wewe Gombel doesn't just take children who are neglected, she takes children whose parents are constantly fighting. She sees the negative energy in the home and decides the child is better off with her. It makes the legend a sort of social commentary, a warning to families to maintain harmony and love. If you're arguing with your spouse and your child is crying in the next room, Wewe Gombel might be listening from the shadows of your backyard, waiting for the perfect moment to step in and play the mother she never got to be. It's a haunting thought, isn't it, that your own anger could summon a monster?
Even in modern times, with streetlights and smartphones, the fear of Wewe Gombel persists. In some cities, you'll still see parents rushing their kids inside the moment the sun starts to set. It's a deep-rooted cultural reflex. It's fascinating how these ancient legends adapt to the modern world. Instead of hiding in a remote jungle, maybe she's hiding in that abandoned construction site down the street, or the overgrown park behind your apartment complex. The setting changes, but the predator remains the same. She is a reminder that no matter how much technology we have, the old spirits of the land still hold their ground, and they still follow their own ancient, terrifying rules. So what can we learn from the legend of Wewe Gombel? Well, for one, always listen to your parents when they tell you to come home before dark. But more importantly, it's a story about the consequences of grief, the importance of community, and the respect we owe to the mysteries of the natural world. Indonesia is a land of incredible beauty, but its folklore reminds us that beauty often hides a sharp edge. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, there's no denying that the atmosphere of a tropical forest at twilight is heavy with something unexplainable. Next time you're out and the sun starts to set, just listen. If the birds stop singing, it might be time to run.
I really hope you enjoyed this journey into one of Indonesia's most famous urban legends. It's definitely one that keeps me looking over my shoulder when I'm out late. If you found this story as fascinating and creepy as I did, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to explore more dark myths and legends from around the world, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. Tell me in the comments, what's the scariest legend from your hometown? I'd love to hear them. Until next time, stay safe and watch the shadows.